my intro?
Sure.
Hi.
Hey. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters on a weird date and time. I know usually I'm in bed right now, which is why we don't normally go this late. But hey, thanks for joining us. Um, Before we get into why we're late and everything, don't forget that you can win. I think I got a glare. Sorry, guys.
Whoa.
This ornament kit from Lynn at Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. You can make this ornament with all the stuff inside, like cool. And then there's a tape measure and some stickers and a teeny tiny skein in there that you can't see, but I promise it's there. So make sure you comment on this, not on the live, because those don't stay forever. So comment after it's done. So
Yeah,
it
and we aren't
stays there
counting
and we
them
can see
either.
you.
Not to be totally lazy, but we're not
But
like
no,
no.
that's hard to do.
Comment
Sorry.
after the video is finished on the video. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So ornament kit from Lynn at Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. And if you can't wait and you just have to buy something from her, you can use the code Scorching20 PIK. Although I don't know about you guys, but it has not been scorching here this August. Is it scorching there, Am?
A little bit. There's been a couple of really hot days, but like today and yesterday was just beautiful.
Yeah, no. So the reason why we're so late, I'll just keep talking, okay? The reason why we're so late is because Ann and I did not exactly plan properly. Well, my kids had a birthday this week, and then we left to go camping, and then Ann's like, hey, what news are we going to talk about? And I said, I don't know, because I had no reception. I was camping. So if you got news, I don't
know,
yes.
guys. I mean, it's terribly slow news week. I can't possibly think of anything that has happened.
Well, I want to talk about camping for a minute, and then you can get into all the stuff. So we went to this really cool place. It's called Herkimer, and they have these things called Herkimer diamonds, and they are these it's the only place in the world where you can get double terminated naturally formed crystals. And so my husband found a couple of really cool ones, and so I just thought I'd show you guys because it was fun and cool and different. But see, it's like a giant it looks like it's a gem thingy, and he found this giant one that they told us we could sell for around $250. So I told him we should sell them, although he put all this hard work in to get them out of the stones. But I said, if we sell them, then next year we can go camping and we don't have to pay as much. But yeah, and because I turned 40 this year and it was our 10th anniversary, he also bought me a Herkimer diamond ring.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yep. So that was really super exciting. And my kids had a blast. We went with our cousins, and well, they're not technically siblings, but aunt and uncles, and we just had a blast. So I was too busy having fun to know anything about anything. So
that's fair.
That's all I know.
Did you bring your knitting along?
I sure did, and I got about 6 rows knitted, so I'm not even going to show it to you guys because we were too busy tubing and mining and whatever. So
all the good things. Well, you were gone this weekend. I'm going to be gone next weekend, so hopefully getting.
But we're going to try to plan ahead better.
Yes.
So that we're not doing it this time of night.
Right. Hopefully.
Did you say where you're going to? Were you going to share or no?
Not particularly. It's the internet. Cool. I love each and every one of you. Also, you don't need to know. So I might talk about it later.
That's funny. No, the only reason I said where we went is because it's far away from where I live, and we had to drive quite some time, and the diamonds are too cool not to talk about.
Oh, definitely.
It's a lot of fun. So
especially if they're a local thing. That's very neat.
And they're technically not diamonds. They're quartz crystals, but if you guys could tell that from looking at it, then you're snooty, and that's okay. So,
well, it's a good skill to have.
It would be interesting, but anyway. I'm tired. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, as you said, it is kind of late for you.
just got all the kids off to bed, and normally I do this afterwards. And that's about it.
All right. Well, for me, I found that in my shuffle of the day that I lost a sock. I'm sure I'll find it later. But that I did another. What?
Liz pulls out jeweler's eyeglass. Hey, if you're that close, then we better be friends anyway. So, so Anne, you lost a sock?
I did. It's somewhere. I don't know where it is. But I did the thing again where I did 2 at a time socks, but with different colors. So, I mean, the other one's going to be blue, but the first pair are done. It's going to be this pattern, but
Pretty.
This yarn. So yeah, it's the Rumple socks, I think, by Kay Jones. Anyways, yeah, so my own personal sock challenge, which this is for. So I have this pair to finish and then another pair afterwards. So I'm probably not going to make it.
Hey, you got a lot closer than I thought you were going to, though. For a minute there, it looked like you weren't going to get even close.
Well, there was all of Shark Week in the middle. So,
yeah.
And then I also
Shark Week. Whose idea was that?
Yes, terrible. Like, who thought that would be good in the middle of my own little sock knitting challenge? But also, I feel because of Shark Week that I'm like, oh, I didn't finish in time. There's no consequence to this. This feels a little weird. I feel like no, whatever. You can't focus on other things. I have to finish these socks. It's like, legitimately, I don't.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah. These are your own rules on your own game.
I know, but now I feel like, I don't know. I set myself a challenge and then to willfully not do it. I'm not sure I can. Not sure I'm that guy, but
so
not that I haven't.
On the next episode.
Before.
Yeah. No, on the next episode that we record right before you go out of town, which will be the last day of the month.
Ooh.
I bet you there's going to be more socks.
Hopefully. I mean, at least.
I guess.
I mean, I'm going to work on this pair and hopefully the last one, but we'll see. And then there's actually been a fair amount of leftover of this yarn. So I might just make extra socks just from it and go.
For who? Just more socks? I want to know how many socks you have to wear. Like how many have you made so far? How many pairs?
They're trying to think. I think I got 8 of these Van Gogh yarns.
Okay, so you're going to have 8 pairs of socks from those, and I'm sure that these aren't the only socks you own.
No.
So how does this work? Do you have like a pair for every day of the month, or what's the deal?
Well, as I was thinking when I was making these, if we're just talking hand knit socks, I probably have about 5 pairs of hand knit socks, not of this. Thereabouts. But, I don't count my socks. That seems like an OCD
so you're
thing.
Still gonna have 2 weeks worth of handmade socks. I mean, how many socks can one girl wear?
A lot of socks. Winter is coming. Look, as I said when I started this, okay, I'm like, knitting yourself 8 pairs of socks. I'm like, that seems a little excessive. But if I said, hey, DK, so I was at the store yesterday and I got a pack of 8 socks, you'd be like, that's incredibly boring. Why are you telling me this? And also, that wouldn't be an irrational number of socks to buy.
Okay. All right. You've got me there. But I'm just saying. No. and according to Chicken Lady, it gets cold, like cold in South Dakota. So apparently I just don't understand.
Yeah.
7 days a week, lives in the depths of this. I can't read that fast. Uh-huh. I have at least 21 pairs of hand knit socks. Well, good for you, Chicken Lady. God bless and Godspeed. I have 4.
But
and I didn't make them.
Not just the level of misery and cold, but it's like misery and cold. And if you like leave laundry a little longer than you should, that's miserable. You don't want to rewear socks. That's gross. And you want the good ones all the time.
Right.
It's entire. Yeah, it's a rational thing. Even though with the leftover socks or the leftover sock yarn, I'm not going to guarantee they're all going to turn into socks because I've promised too much for this challenge. I've already talked about this way too long. But Like I have a couple of friends that I might make stuff for, and I have some baby gifts I have not made that might be useful for it. So, anyways,
I mean, you can make a cool scrappy something with it.
yeah, that'd be cool. I'm not
Well,
super good at scrappy though.
no. Hey, whatever happened to that blanket you were making?
The blanket is still sitting in the basket. I definitely didn't because I had a quarter of it done, and you're like, this is great. You can do a quarter every 3 months and have it done in a year. I said, that's a fantastic idea. I did not do that. So
That's
my
okay.
second quarter is not very large, but I'll get there. It's fine. It'll be good.
I know you'll get there. It's just one of those things where it just hit me that because you said you don't do scrappy, but that one's a little scrappy.
It is
That's what
scrappy.
made me think of it.
Or
So
I guess I should say I'm not very good at scrappy. And that is scrappy. That is whatever I'm throwing into it. That's sort of its purpose. But I don't know. Like I see all these other lovely podcasty types, and they're like, and this is my scrappy blanket. And I'm like, yeah, that like I don't know, like with little bits and pieces of like this is my leftover sock yarn or this is my leftover whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Anyways,
I'm with you. I
yeah.
don't do scrap. I don't do much actually. I have not knit much this summer. I've had a lot going on, and
Yeah.
knitting has just not been my thing apparently. So hey, I'm still here. I'm just apparently mining instead. Whatever. My husband and I are going to go live at Herkimer and just find the big diamonds, and that's how we're going to support ourselves from now
Hey,
on.
I mean, if he has talent for it, they're definitely go for it.
He did. He did great today. But anyway, so
Anyways.
sorry, I got so distracted by comments. Like I said, it's been a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else is new with you? Anything? You knit some
Well,
socks.
knit some
You
socks basically. I
cool.
mean, I got a pair of I mean, I only have one to show for it, but I mean, I got a pair of socks done since you last saw me, and working on heels
Mhm.
on cuffs for another one, and
Mhm.
yeah, good
Cool.
stuff.
Cool.
Do my best.
Yep. Blankets are year round. Amy says that blankets are year round. If she waited for cold weather, she'd be 1 week out of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been scorching there right now.
Yeah.
So God bless you for making blankets because I don't do it and I still live in a cold place. So whatever.
And also, speaking of scrappy blankets, Amy just did this
Very
beautiful
pretty.
granny square thing that it's absolutely stunning, but not it's one of those things where there's so many colors it goes back to being a neutral, and there's not like they're well distributed throughout
Yeah.
them, so it's not like this square over here is way more dark and this one's lighter. Like it's a lot of colors all at once, but like I said, it goes back to being a single
Mm-hmm.
thing. So anyways,
Well,
amazing.
yeah. And guys, if you want to give Amy baby blankets, I assume you're still also doing hats for older kids. So
Right,
yeah,
right,
if you've
more
got
topical.
anything you want to donate, she's the chick. We can hook you up if you have questions you don't know who to talk to.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that's from, I mean, username Two Sisters and Some Yarn, or Pro
Mhm.
Life Knitter is another account that she
Yep.
has on Instagram. So yeah.
And we missed this one, but your Van Gogh socks are amazing. So there you go. I need to see that. Yes, all of the baby stuffs. So Amy says if you've got baby stuffs, go for it. She'll take them.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, friends. So what else is up?
Well, I'm
Tell me the
sure.
news that I missed without any internet. It was so like wonderful to not have internet, but it's so weird to not like know what's happening all the
Well,
time right away. So
surely, even with minimal internet, you saw the mugshot heard around the world.
well, that happened before I left, so I
Oh,
did see the mugshot, yes. And
I mean,
and I would have had to actually have been underneath a rock in the river we were tubing down to not have seen it. So yes, you are
right.
correct.
No,
So
I just no, that look though. I mean, Jenna Ellis in her mugshot, she smiled and like, oh, everyone should smile because this is all a phony thing. But
mhm.
no, Trump looks
No, no.
the
He should
very
not have smiled.
American eagle himself for fierceness. Like
Yeah.
he is on top of that crest and he's going to fight. That was, quite a look. And I mean, I'm getting a t-shirt. Are you getting a t-shirt? Everyone's getting a t-shirt.
What are we, Oprah? You get a t-shirt. You get a
Everybody
t-shirt.
gets a t-shirt, except I'm not paying for it, guys. Y'all got your Shark Week stickers. But I'm
I
getting
haven't gotten mine yet because I was out of town. I'm dying. Everybody's been posting their Shark Week stickers. And Anne,
yes.
everybody, Anne, very wonderful job. Thank you for doing all the Shark Week. You did wonderful. Thank you for doing all of it. It was under our name, but really Anne was in charge. So
Hey,
fabulous job.
Yay. No, it was a good time too. I enjoyed it. I
Sorry.
hope everyone else enjoyed it. Have some fun ideas for next year. So hope you all enjoy those when those happen. And also, it's awesome having the Shark Week challenge done. I mean, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. Definitely couldn't do this very quickly, close together. But I have a couple of ideas for other cool potential challenge things. So we gotta conspire later. Not necessarily.
Okay.
Of a different nature. Also a cool
Okay.
challenge thing, also something, but I got some fun ideas. I'm excited.
Good.
And
I'm
also,
glad you do because lately I have had no ideas. I've been the no idea person and you've been all of them. So that's how it goes some days.
well, and also I'm sitting here like, okay, Shark Week done, big middle of summer thing. And then my next thought is winter, again with the Van Gogh socks, winter is coming. It's, yay, thanks. But no, it's like, well, living in a land of actually miserable winters, it's like the white grip of frost is gonna guess. Anyways, sorry, lost that sentence. I was going somewhere. But that in thinking knitting wise, it's like, okay, next challenge, next thing. It's like, okay, fall is coming, big knitting season, Christmas knitting, holiday knitting, all coming right up. Like, all right, you gotta, it's like, okay, what's the plan for Christmas this year, folks? It's gonna be exciting.
Right. I
Oh,
don't have a
and
plan for Christmas. Do I have to be in charge of stuff? But it's
no, we'll conspire. Everyone,
okay. We'll conspire. I don't know what's happening yet.
okay.
Anne hasn't
Liz,
filled me in.
Liz asks if my Trump undesirable #1 pattern is available. Legitimately, anybody who wants it, email me at the politically incorrect knitters@gmail.com. I will send it to you. I think it's awesome. There really hasn't been that much of a widespread appeal. So,
Well, it's kind of a big block. I mean, like, it's pretty cool and awesome, but if you're, are you gonna put it on a sweater or on a blanket?
I have put it on a sweater before.
I know you have. Do you wear that sweater?
Not often, really. That's more because the sweater itself is a little close fitting
It's
and a little. I mean, like it's a cool pattern, and then
it's a really cool pattern.
this is a rookie mistake. When you put intarsia on a shirt, you notice my Attack on Titan shirt, you want it to be really, really close to the top. And you might think, no, man, that's too close to the top, and you lower it down. Don't do that. Do not do that. You want it like an inch or so off your collar when you're doing a sweater pattern. So that's another thing that's a little, again, rookie mistake.
Happens to the best of us. No, I was telling Anne, we were chatting on the phone, and I was like, I really want to make a pattern that says listless vessel. And then I heard the whole clip of the listless vessel comment, and I'm like, it doesn't have quite the zing that I had hoped it would. Because,
Right.
I heard it out of context, and it sounded like he called everybody who liked Trump listless vessels. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe it. And then I went back and I listened to the whole thing. I was like, oh, that's not really what he said. Bummer. Because that would have been an awesome hat.
That would have been.
And as a person who calls herself deplorable knitter, you can see that I find these kinds of jokes super funny. And I was dying about it for about 3 days until I heard the whole clip.
Oh, and also, again, in the chat, email me if you want the pattern because I do have the chart. But you could just stick the Trump head on an orange hat. Intarsia pattern, that thing. Very cool. I'm sure everybody wants it, which is why no one's wanted to. See, I'm not
Well,
very good with these
says he
ideas.
wants it, so there you go.
I mean,
It's
yes,
good.
and exactly. Be awesome.
I would do it if I could put it on a hat, but I don't know how I could put that giant thing on a hat. I mean,
It is kind
it
of big.
just
The
it's too big for. I mean, you could have it wrap all the way around, but that would be awkward. So,
Yeah, you don't want a head entirely
and
over.
then it would be tall, and then it would be no, it's no good.
Yeah, I
And
mean, okay, at a guess. Okay, the one all the way in the corner behind me. Okay, so that's about that big, and that is probably DK yarn on size 5 needles. So you could bring it down with smaller yarn. So that's not terrible. I mean, that could probably fit on a hat, you know.
okay,
But the kind of the thing with intarsia, when you're doing anything in particular, like this Ripaverse boy, by the way, like
that's
legitimately right
nice.
now is the end of the Ripaverse campaign. So not to shill for them, but go check it out if you haven't, because wait, in this stack of stuff, I did get my ISOM too. I just barely started reading it, haven't yet, but fun. Anyways, but the thing when you're doing an intarsia pattern is that you basically have to take the smallest relevant detail of the pattern and then you work on from there. So the smallest relevant detail of this pattern is that this hat has one little dot above for like the little, button on the top of your hat. And then after that you have the line for the brim, and then you have these little lightning corners, and the lightning corners have to be, you know, proper points. So that kind of, I don't know, lose my word, but that informs the rest of the pattern, basically. So,
Interesting.
anyways, and the most relevant thing with Donald Trump when you're doing him in profile is that you need to have, eyes, nose, mouth, and hair flip on the back.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember you had trouble with like the nose and like the hair and like you had that took you a while to like work it out.
Yeah,
That was the thing.
it is a thing. And
Liz
oh,
says that she would buy a sticker or enamel pin of that in a hot second.
hey, perfect. Um, yeah, I just got a text. Someone else found my sock. It's okay.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
oh, good.
Well, you don't want it to be lost. That would be terrible.
Exactly. Then I have to make
There
another
could be
one.
crying.
There could be.
Would you cry? I don't think so.
I mean, I'd have to make another one. It's not the worst thing I've ever done. Um, yeah. Well, yeah, we need merch. But again, also the issue of, I don't know, knitting merch
Copyright?
mostly in the, no, not really. Knitting merch is mostly in the hand of other people. I could whip out a pattern and make a hat thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, too much
I
thought.
don't know.
Could be.
So, very cool.
Yeah.
So, we've seen the mugshot.
Mhm.
It's very striking. I think that I don't people are going to take this out of context, but majestic's not the right word, but it has that very compelling, very um you know what I mean by that, right? Like I keep thinking majestic, that's not the word I want, but there's
No,
something
it
about
is.
it that makes him very I think they were trying to make him like crappy and it's just like pushed him up and I'm still not convinced I'm going to vote for him, but they're trying to like push him down and that just made him yeah.
No, that is a glowering look. That is fierce. That is I mean business. That is this is the face of someone who believes this is total crap and is going to fight tooth and nail from it.
Hmm.
And people look at that and they go, yes,
Yeah.
exactly that. And I saw a picture circulating. I'm not sure if it's the true we live in a world of Photoshop, but the full length photo of him is like, no, that's a really good one too. Again, another
Hmm.
shirt. And buskers
Yeah.
are already making bank. Like there's
Oh, sure.
pictures of, with like there's news outlets who are calling him by his prisoner number. So they have that on the shirt.
For
And
real?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
I was gone for 2.5 days or something. How did I miss all of it?
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but I mean, and this totally knocks anything about the GOP debate. Just gone, out of the mind, not even there, not
Yep.
important. Vivek did the best out of all of them, but only because he was the only one who would do straight Republican talking points. Um, Ron DeSantis and his awkward little smile. Um, but yeah,
I don't know. If you guys like DeSantis, good for you. I don't know. There's something about him all of a sudden that makes me. Ugh.
mhm.
Yeah, and Chicken Lady says she doesn't trust Ramaswamy either. And I don't know. I started out really liking him, but now I don't know. So
Yeah, the
I don't
thing
know.
is that it's like he says some great things, and it's like, yeah, when somebody says, it's like, no, when you say things like that, you want them to be as good as their word, basically.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you got some weird background connections, buddy, and no, I'm not sure about him.
Yeah. Some stuff's a little
It's
something, a little
it's kind of
sketchy.
like it's
I don't know.
and okay, when Trump first came onto the stage, I was a little like, I don't know. Like again, the guy was a Democrat his whole life. He's saying all these good things. I don't know if he'll actually deliver. And then, as I've said many times before, I voted for Ted Cruz in the Republican primaries. That didn't turn out very well, but it was Ted Cruz who always talks big and underperforms, and he has a record of talking big. And hey, good for him. He's talking big. But it was Trump who talked big and performed better, which is
Mm-hmm.
very rare. And yeah, I'm with Karen. Trump for me, even if I have to write in his name, and
Yeah.
definitely that is the point where I'm at. Everyone else is turning up such weasels. It is
Yeah.
so unfortunate. And also, okay, the look on Trump's face says, screw you to the establishment. And I'm like, that's my boy. That's my
Yeah.
man. Um, Tara said earlier that he looked like God Emperor Trump. I don't know if you've seen the.
Yeah. And somebody else said he looked like Caesar. So there you go.
Yeah, and I know that there's some like, oh, shouldn't compare him to a king or whatever else, but it's like, no, this is like he has such the Trump movement hasn't been about Trump for
Right.
years. There has been conservatism. He's the only person who not only spoke for conservatives, but again, it was better than his word on conservatives. And it's not a, well, I agree with everything he says, or I agree with this, I agree with that. The guy, okay, while again, I don't agree with everything he says, and I'm not one of those, oh, well, he sometimes is rude. I'm like, I don't care, man. Whatever. He can sometimes
Oh
be rude.
no.
But
I mean, you've met my husband. You know that I that kind of like people speaking their mind and saying stuff. That's not anything that bothers me at all. I love my husband to death, but sometimes he'll say stuff that I'm like, for real, dude. He's never sugarcoated anything ever, and so that part doesn't put me off at all. It's just that I'm to the point with the stuff that he's so polarizing, and they're doing all this stuff to him, and I know that they're doing it to make it so he doesn't run, but also like at some point is it going to take away from what he can do if they're fighting him so hard?
well,
Is he actually going to be able to do anything?
well, first off, Chicken Lady says that you should do an inmate number hat, which
Yeah,
would
I
be
totally saw
awesome,
that. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
right? Um, yes, but okay, if well, which is something I've said before, but if anybody else was truly worth a darn, they would fight them the same and worse.
Yeah.
And but we've heard again, not to totally hate on DeSantis, but I'm going to totally hate on DeSantis, or that. Okay, anybody running against Trump right now first of all, has to kind of accept the fact that your political opponent is being harangued out of the potential of being in office unjustly, and that they're kind of against him in that point. But also that DeSantis doesn't take personal criticism well. And it's like, oh, well, Trump is very rude and he's childish with these names and everything. But sincerely, if DeSantis is not holding up under that pressure, how is he going to go when he's the new Hitler? He's not. Um, he's going to talk big and he's going to put his arms out like a bulldog, like George W. Bush did. But he's not going, it's great. And what he's done for Florida is great. But he can't take a little personal criticism and he can't take any pushback on his policies. And he's got all of the big red donors, who just want a nice boy who will capitulate and remain part of the system. Trump is actually pushing an outside system. And yeah, like we are in such deep crap right now.
Oh yeah.
That I think a screw you to the establishment is exactly what's needed. And it's not that Trump didn't make mistakes, that there's all Trump didn't eradicate the deep state. He was hobbled through a lot of his presidency. He had bad advisors. You have this, that. Nobody else has done more, though. Like doing a real knock to all of these issues, to cutting regulations, to trade deals, to like legitimate peace talks in the Middle East, that whole Abraham Accord, all of that. It's like, well, he could have done more. It's like, yeah, but what a record.
Right. Yeah, no, I know. And so they're going after all these people in Georgia because they said that Trump really won, and so it was election interference, right? That's the deal.
Yeah, that to contest an election is counts as election interference. Not only that, but to say that you should watch Newsmax's coverage of election interference or of election issue coverage, that was considered election interference, to promote media outlets, which also comes out of freedom of speech for him, but not only that, but freedom of the press. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah. So why didn't Al Gore and Bush and the hanging Chad thing count as election interference?
Or Hillary, or
Maxine Waters telling people to go after conservatives in restaurants and to kick them out and to bully them and to. So if I don't like this game, right? Like, I don't like this, like, we're going to jail our enemies and whatever. But if the Democrats are doing it to the Republicans, then shouldn't the Republicans start doing the same thing? Like, because right now they're bullies and they're pushing us around, and it's like, oh, we think that if we just keep being nice, they'll be nicer to us. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
at some point, shouldn't we start pushing them back?
Well, not only that, but to okay, so backing up a little bit about the the Republican primary debates on Fox News. And not only that, but Fox News explicitly, there's already a rule that you're not supposed to talk about Tucker Carlson on Fox News, but they were explicitly told that they were not allowed to talk about the Trump Tucker interview at all for any of their coverage. And then they were really weird about YouTube clips, that you couldn't have more than 3 minutes of video total on anyone's clip to talk about the Republican debate, which isn't very helpful. Anyways, so I'm sitting there, I'm hanging out, the party animal I am, and I'm like, oh, the Republican debate is tonight, and then I ended up watching Trump instead, because screw those people.
Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I clicked on to the Blaze coverage because it was up on YouTube. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Oh, this will be they didn't actually stream any of the Fox News debate because of the weird rules. But also, it was Glenn Beck, big sigh, talking about how he was glad that Trump wasn't here because it's bad for the Republican candidates to pick at each other. And I'm like, if I hear, I couldn't, I'm like, any more waffling about civility, none of it. No, Beck, his program was just taken off Apple for whatever reason that you
Mhm.
can't have him on iTunes. You're like, oh, well, but I don't want the Republicans to pick at each other. I'm like, oh, Mike Pence needs more than a little civility against
Mike
that.
Pence's, yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
Christie too, and the rest of them. Nikki Haley, what a
she was good,
total.
but dude, years ago she got crappy like that. It's nothing new at this point. She
Mhm.
started off all right, and then she went right in the crapper. Um,
Yeah,
but Liz Kintnett said, being the bigger person has us weak and foolish. You don't back down to a bigger person and be a bigger person than the bullies done with that mess. And that's exactly what I was trying to say, but she just said it much nicer.
yeah,
Because they are gonna they play dirty, right? So we can't keep we should always try to do what's right, but also if they've done shit that's wrong, we should go after them for it. I'm not saying that we need to like manufacture stuff like they try to do against Trump, but we know about like Hunter's laptop and the Coke in the White House and the confidential records next to the Corvette. And in case you forgot, Corvettes have a force field. So if you put your confidential records next to your Corvette, they are secure. But we could go after him for that because not everybody is aware of the force field that they own. So you
exactly.
know what I mean? Like,
That you see things like Kevin McCarthy being like, "Oh no, this is a miscarriage of justice." I'm like, "Oh no, who could literally do anything about it? Somebody please save me, Mr. House Representative, whose
right,
job it is to actually like file these issues. If
right.
only somebody could donate more money to
Somebody had a
Donate Money
spine.
Now at donatemoneynow.com, then we could really get a victory on this issue, except for maybe like, actually serving impeachment papers, because this is actual like foreign collusion and treason and all of these things. If only there is somebody who could, oh, wait, it's you. It's you, buddy.
Yeah. And Chicken Lady just verified. So I've been fact checked live on air that Amy D's husband and Chicken Lady's husband have Corvettes, and the force field is real. So there
For
you go.
confidentiality, cone of silence, as were, protects it from ever being stolen by any foreign powers, like the foreign powers that we have proof of him getting money from.
Right, right. And that was those documents were secure in there. Nobody else was in that house except for like the records that show that other people were in the house. But don't worry about that. It's okay. Just
Oh,
forget it.
no, we're good. We're fine. The
You
force
vouch for
field
too
is our
much.
secret.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to tell other people. Otherwise, everybody's going to get a Corvette so they can have a force field. I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and again with Liz, that labels are damning. That it's kind of like the people who legitimately say that Biden has had a scandal-free run in office, or used to say that about Obama. Like, oh yeah, Obama hasn't had a scandal this whole time. He's such a nice guy. I'm like, what? Can we talk about Fast and Furious or oh my gosh.
Ooh, I heard something interesting today. Don't know if it's real. Just allegedly, I heard that his fingerprints were found on the chef's laptop, and 300 and something files were missing from the laptop. So
Ooh.
just interesting. But it's allegedly. I didn't hear anything else. So you know.
That's weird.
Oh, Corvettes are made in America. So if you buy them, you're helping the people of Bowling Green, Kentucky. I have a friend that lives there. She says it's the armpit of the world. So I don't know if they want to stay in Bowling
They
Green,
need
Kentucky.
all
I'm
the
just
help they
saying.
can get, obviously. Oh,
Sorry.
but anyways.
She's talking about finding a job anywhere else. She's
Mhm.
like, I was going to tell you something else, but now it's just totally gone. Maybe it'll come back in a minute. I don't think it was very important.
Hey, that works out. Wheel. Anyway, sorry, Amy's making me laugh. Um, well, we have a little bit of European news if you're interested, because
Oh,
otherwise we have full
can
depth
I
instruction. But please, you go first.
can I tell you what I thought? Okay, so you said European. It made me remember what I was going to tell you. Our friend, the famous artist Bertie Rose, had this picture of her removed from Facebook. It's a picture of her. Somebody wrote a comment and said that she was the Pope. And so it's a picture of her as the Pope. And then around it are like different, like the comments on the picture. And then it says things like men aren't women and whatever. And it was removed for hate speech. And she appealed it, and it was taken down for being hate speech or whatever, or going against community standards. But all the stuff that was on it was stuff that people had said to her, and they weren't removed as being hateful. And so I just found it mind-boggling that this piece of art that she took other people's words and put it up there, they're like, oh no, that's unacceptable. But those comments are okay when you don't have them on a piece of art. So it was just interesting to
Well,
me.
it's sort of the two-tiered justice system, but in the internet world.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and that's what she was saying about it. It's gonna get you into that whole like we can have free speech over here on X, and then you okay? Something happened?
no, I hear some knocking, and I don't think it's actually at my door. But if screaming starts, or I don't even know what, if they could get like a horror movie in here. That's the problem with live streams. You never know.
Um. Yeah. So anyway, go support our friend, the famous artist Bertie Rose, because they're oppressing her again. So yeah,
Exactly. We should have her on again. She's always a good time.
she is always a good time. But I just wanted to tell you that, and when you said European, it made me remember. So moving on. This is what happens when I'm tired. Sorry, friends.
Well, and also kind of this is just a statement without really a follow-up comment. But Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Union, so charming woman,
I'm sure.
they just put out the Digital Services Act. So listen to this umbrage BS. Okay. And this was posted on the 25th. Okay, we're bringing our European values into the digital world. We could pause there already. What does European values mean? That Europe
Correct.
is a vast continent of many different people groups.
Right.
So, anyways, back beginning. We are bringing. I have to do this. Except I'm not very good at accents, so I won't be sinister in German. But think of it in your head of a very thin, sinister German blonde woman. We're bringing our European values into the digital world with strict rules on transparency and accountability, like all bureaucracies. Our Digital Services Act aims to protect our children, societies, and democracies.
I'm gonna go with no, but okay.
Okay, again, this is the best act, the Saving Puppies Act, that will protect our children, services, and democracies. Again, multiple democracies, services, but also it's for the kids. So if you're against this, you hate children. And finishing the statement, as of today, very large online platforms must apply the new law and must enforce the new law, must uphold the new law, must be the arms of the government to make sure this new law is applied, but instead put very nicely in a little tweet.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there is so much covered in this while saying very little at all that this is very good. This is very transparent and helps the children and the
I don't understand it. So she's just trying to tell people to do what she wants them to, and if you don't agree, then it's you're against the children
Well, this was
and
the
puppies.
charming. Yeah.
And
Yes, this will save the children and our services and our democracies, which again are things with very different purviews when it comes to a law. So it's weird that one law can affect so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Amy's there with her comment.
Hmm.
But this
This
is
is the
also
cup that says he's talking about, just FYI. It's a Coke cup that we got from McDonald's 100 years ago.
nice.
Sorry to interrupt. The comments were distracting me.
Okay, sure. That's fine.
That's what happens when you get me this close to my bedtime. I can't keep a thought.
Okay. Well, no, just that Amy says, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Big Daddy Government is going to hush your words."
For
Pretty
real.
much. And this is also the lady who, wait, I'm trying to remember if this was Miss von der Leyen or if this was somebody else, also from the European Union, who said, oh, Elon Musk says he's going to have free speech on Twitter. We'll see about that. Basically, that the European Union is going to make laws that are stronger than Twitter. Um,
Oh.
of course, remembering that the European Union is an institution founded on that stupid people, the peasants with democracy, is what brought Hitler into power. And therefore, having any sort of representative democracy is bad, and world should be ruled by elites because elites have never caused us any problems. Wait, in the same scenario they're trying to avoid, it may have. Hang on. Problem. But anyways, sorry.
No, some of the stuff that's going on is nuts, and not quite the same thing, but a week or two ago, Melanie, who was on with us previously with Revolution Yarn, she messaged me and said, well, now in Canada you can't get news like on social media. They've made a law where you can't get news at all. They're trying to make it so people don't know what's going on, so that
Right.
you only get the government media sources, so that you are, yeah.
Well, yeah, they phrased it in such a way that social media, because they have a lot of government news in Canada, but
Hmm.
social media is profiting off news sources, and because the Canadians pay for the news, that the social media companies shouldn't be able to see the news unless they also pay for it. Um,
Mm-mm.
yeah, so
Mm-mm.
they're blocking all news sources, and
Yeah.
it's pretty stupid. And
It's pretty sinister though too. Like it's pretty.
it's bad.
It
Canada,
it it. Well, you said like something about Hitler. That's how he got to power. But that's how they do it. Oh, you can only watch the news media that we approve of and is here. And yeah, yep.
yep.
Hmm.
And this also kills all of the independent news sources, the ones who don't get extra money from Trudeau for saying the quote right thing.
Right.
Um, and not only that, this kills them. That it the the amount of people who are willing to go to a not social media website grows smaller every day, which is very unfortunate because decentralization is something that really helped the internet when it first started. Yes,
Hmm.
homogenization of information for homogenization of thought, exactly.
Yes.
Um, but yes, that we saying that has knocked that right out of my brain. That was
I'm
all my
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
hey, don't worry about it. No, that they're trying to kill these smaller sites and people
Hmm.
can't get news as easily. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, well, you can get a VPN. Yes, that is another step. That is another step for a lot of people. Just going to another website is another step for a lot of people.
Right.
You can do it, but people are much less likely to if they're used to getting all of their news on social media sites. Just
Right.
like social media spin-off sites are more difficult because it's yet another thing to check. And I will admit to that because it is a pain in the butt. Um,
Yeah. There was the one that I was getting into that got blocked from Amazon. Remember a
oh
couple
yeah.
years ago? And but
Well,
I
when
a lot of them I didn't get into.
mhm,
So it's hard because you're used to going to Instagram and Twitter and
yeah, seeing the
I don't know,
relevant things quickly.
Facebook.
Yeah, and it's also difficult because even, I mean, Twitter has gotten much more free. There's still people getting blocked and other issues, but you have all
Hmm.
of that. And you also have new lawfare against Elon Musk that they're trying to get him for um, not wanting to hire immigrants for SpaceX or something like that.
Yeah. So I saw something about that, and it was like that he's getting sued by the Department of Justice because he wants to hire U.S. citizens and people, Americans.
Mhm.
And somebody responded saying, well, the Department of Justice, that's part of your requirements to get a job at your thing. So why aren't you getting sued? Like, how are you suing this company that says, I want to support my country and my people? And
No, exactly. And it's, I mean, gosh, the process is the punishment, as Mark Stein would say. But lawfare against Elon Musk, gotta punish him. He's doing stuff with Devin Archer, with who was a former Hunter Biden associate. Um, he is now being sent to jail, and everybody in that group is now being sent to jail except for Hunter. Wonder why
yes,
he's safe.
yeah,
Even, I mean, we like I said with Elon Musk, even Eric July, again, back to the Ripaverse. Yeah, they have justice in their name. They are fair. Duh. We trust these people. They say good guys on the building. So
right,
1 point
obviously.
for them. No, an Eric July is being sued for stupid stuff over the name Isom apparently being copyright. He's like, no, man, we have receipts. We're good. We're going to fight this properly.
I
But
didn't hear
still,
about that.
yeah, it's within the last couple of days. Yeah. And
Wow.
his campaign is closing out today. I believe off the top of my head. So the first one was 3.7 million, and now the second campaign is 2.4 million, which is still
Wow.
pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
That's something to sneeze at. But yeah, and now he's making money, and now you can sue him for that money. So that's great. And it's petty people trying to
Yeah.
take a swipe at him. And also, anytime that you're entangled with legal stuff or tax stuff or government stuff, it just takes you away from putting your mind to other things. And it's
Hmm.
very difficult. And yeah, like I said,
Yeah. It's
processes.
hard to focus on the things you need to do when you're worried about the court case or the nonsense that's being thrown at you.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to draw a comic when you're, trying to coordinate with your legal team about nonsense.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
yep.
But
Yeah. Tara
oh,
says that she thinks he had more merch in the first campaign, which might be why it grossed more.
true. And I think for collectors value too, it makes sense for people to think that a first one will be
Hmm.
worth more in future. Though I was talking to Neil about this issue, and he said that sometimes it is more difficult to find a second issue than the first issue because the first issue may get more reprints. But
Right.
anyways, he's more of a
Interesting.
comic book collector than I.
You both are more comic book collectors than I am, so it's fine.
I'm trying to catch up. It's kind of pathetic, but I'll get there.
Hey, it's okay.
Um, but okay, in lawfare, in only going after Trump and not going after Biden, I kind of don't want to, but I also kind of have to address the giant smoking pile of rubble in Maui. Okay, beginning
Mm-hmm.
with, it's a fire, it's a tragedy, and it's okay whether however it started, however things, this is a horrible event, naturally, very concerning and very sad. But learning details of it after it came out, the environmental controls guy who didn't want water released for the fire, that there was an area of land where the fires were coming in and they blocked the only way out. Okay, they blocked the only way out, which means that the only people who survived were the ones who disobeyed and either broke the barrier, went around it, did something, jerry rigged their way out of there. Okay, the actual government advice killed people.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, there was a story.
It's a land grab.
Yeah, well, certainly,
Yes, I know.
but also it's straight murder. Okay, is so awful. And there's this story of a woman that, again, she listened to the government advice. She, my son's back there. Policeman said, hey, everybody has been cleared from these buildings. You just got to trust that he got out. She said, sure. She went to go find her son. And her son, he wasn't burned. He died of smoke inhalation wrapped around his dog in the house, found 2 days later. Okay. Her son may have been able to get out, that she may have been able to get to him in time. We will never know. But also, that never was able to happen because the officer said, don't worry about it, go. Again, the only people who survived disobeyed. It is
Awful.
just sick. Anyways, so yeah, there's also that situation. And Tara, land grab, whatever else you can say about it. This or that about how the situation was, it was just stark cruelty and callousness towards the life of the people of Maui. And that in itself is awful. Anyways.
Yeah. My grandfather used to say this too. The most terrifying words that you can ever hear are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Like, for real.
Yeah. But anyways, anyways, that's always cheerful to think about.
Yeah. I don't know. I have questions about that fire. I've been offline for many days, so I haven't looked into it much, but I want to know more about it. It just seems weird, the whole thing.
Yeah. But anyways.
Was the saying that she has a cousin that lives there for years, and he's homeless, and he would go to the Salvation Army, but it burned down, and they don't know if he's there. That's awful. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. And Tara says they don't care about the plebs, and they aren't even, pretending to anymore. And then Chicken Lady said what I think, but I didn't want to say to get taken off the thing.
Space lasers.
Space lasers.
Flame Magneto.
Yeah. So there's questions about it. I saw this whole thing about a laser, and it wouldn't do anything that was blue, and there was some blue stuff that was still intact. And like I said, tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist here. Hi. So it could be true, it could be not true. I don't know. Yeah. When see Chicken Lady saying what I'm saying. So the blue coated roofs didn't burn. I saw a umbrella that was blue that was just chilling there like nothing happened. So makes you wonder. Could just be the way the wind blew. I don't know the answer, man. But
anyways, we are about at an hour mark. I don't know if you had anything else you want to say.
No. I can tell you more about camping if you want to hear it, but I don't know how much you want to hear. No. We just got home a couple hours ago, and so I'm still riding on the fun of it. Oh, this is a good question. Why were people in the water waiting for rescue for so long? Didn't we have boats in Pearl Harbor? I don't know. She says it's because of total inept bliss. I mean, hard to say.
Fair enough.
But on that horribly sad note, I think we're done for tonight. Thanks for
go.
Yeah. No, go.
No, I was going to say, check out our interview with Epic Mike if you haven't seen it yet. That was a really good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. He was a cool guy. And I learned about stuff I didn't know, which is always exciting. I don't know what I was going to say, but thanks for joining us for a super late night thing. I know it's not that super late night where a lot of people are, but here in New York, it's 10, which is when I usually crawl inside my bed and am asleep. So thanks for putting up with all my yawning. I apologize. It's very rude, but I just couldn't help it. But if you
I was going to say, yes. Comment on our video after we stop being live. Get be entered for the giveaway. Also, check out our sponsor, lovely Lynn of Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. Go to chickenladyfiberarts.com for beautiful colors such as these. And also, hang on. You won't be able to see it in the light anyways because my light is crappy. But it is better than the McRib. Sweet Maple is back. I am so excited.
Anna's
But
obsessed with that color.
it's so beautiful. You
It
guys
is
don't
beautiful.
even know because even I didn't know, man. When I got this yarn color, I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty, it's lovely. I'll go get it. Knit with it, it's magical. And the code is forging20 PIK for 20% off your order for lovely yarns such as these, or our own personal colorway, PIK colorway, or Isom. If you like a little merch thing. And yes, enter our giveaway.
Ornament kit.
Ornament kit.
Check
out our ornament
Fabulous. Ornament kit.
kit. Oh, and Amy
What?
says yes. So if you catch up with Knit Night, you know about the laws about bouncing pickles. That to be I forget which state it was now. That'll remind me. But to consider for a product to be considered to be pickled, it had to be able to bounce. And that got a lot of laughs from the panel. So Lynn has a bouncing pickle colorway. It's actually quite pretty.
Very cool. I'll have
So
to check it out. I missed that whole thing. It was probably one of those black and white teasers I never remembered to go look at. So
yes, so that's on her website. So that's very cool.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. We will see you soon. Next week, Tuesday, right? Live from the Name Wars is on Tuesday, I think.
Is it this Tuesday?
I don't know. We haven't done it in at least 2 weeks.
Last week we didn't. Oh, crud.
Okay. There might be we're not sure, but stay tuned. There might be a Live from the Name Wars this week. And then there's going to be a new episode on Saturday-ish. So we'll see you soon.
We'll figure that. Stay tuned.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Highly organized.
All right.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? It works for us. It's fine. So, all right, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.